different, right? So I forgot where I was going with that.
Alive.
Oh my God, we're about to start. We're on camera and we're eating.
God, I tell my, we probably should not say but hello, I am Melissa SK. I am a visual artist, curator, and co-owner of sk.Artspace.
Girl, you important. I'm Kinna LeBlanc. I am a digital illustrator and I am the social media coordinator of sk.Artspace.
We are talking about anxiety and depression within the artist community. The reason why we're talking about this is because this is something that has come up very often within our local community. People ask us a lot of questions about it. And so we just felt that it was necessary to create a video to talk about these issues and how we have personally overcome it and pushed through.
Yeah, pretty much. Because as an artist myself, I definitely suffer from anxiety and depression. I'm gonna say, you know what? I just said it on a public stage. And the beginning of the new year, I actually had a bit of a panic attack. It was kind of weird. I felt like it was a part of the universe, but let's say it wasn't New Year's Day and it was just a regular day. Things like that actually happen a lot with artists, and it's inevitable because we are like so much in our heads, I guess.
But how do you feel like that affects your work? Because I feel like a lot of people struggle with that, and then they use that as an excuse. And I don't mean to say it like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But they use it as
a crutch.
To not create anymore. And creating is what fuels your soul, and you know this, but you're suffering from these things that you really don't have control over.
You have no control over, right? So I can't speak for anybody else, but if I'm like in a dark space, it's hard for me to create. So it's like, I don't know if I'm using it as a crutch. I just think that it goes hand in hand.
How do you get yourself out of that? Out of that dark space?
I think that's like the ongoing battle. But I've been doing a lot better as I've gotten older. I think it comes with growth, it comes with maturity, because when you learn different mechanisms on how to cope, which is something that comes with a bit of experience, you know, you almost have to go to therapy, talk to people, put it out there on the public stage. You're an advocate for therapy. So I think that starts the process of healing. Like, you have to almost accept what's happening. Accept like, yo, I got anxiety, I have depression. Especially in our community, like the Black community, like we don't want to talk about stuff like that.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about it because it makes it seem like you're crazy.
You're crazy, yeah.
That's the first thing people think about.
Or it's an excuse, like, look at what your mind said immediately. Like,
an excuse.
It's an excuse. It wasn't intentional, but that's just how we're trained to almost see things. So, I don't know. I think just acknowledging the problem.
I also feel like people have these issues, but they don't know that it's happening, right? So for me, I think that I would have never said that I have like mental issues or I'm suffering from depression, because I don't
acknowledge that as a depression. This is like, you're just like, this is a bad day.
I don't know how to identify it versus like acknowledgement, right? Because I could know that it's happening and I could just be like, oh no, that's not me.
Yeah.
But I don't even know how to identify it. And that makes me think of, there was a time, I think back in 2014, where I didn't create for 2 years. And it stands out in my mind so much because I know exactly, I could literally see myself during that time. I did not create at all. I had no inspiration.
Yeah, what was happening? What were you doing?
No motivation. Yeah. I didn't even want to go to galleries.
So what were you doing in place of that?
Nothing. I was traveling, hanging out with friends, doing things people do.
Because here's what I like. Right, in their 20s. Okay. And that's, again, that goes hand in hand with what I said recently. Like, you have to identify it, and I think identifying it comes with the experience. Like, so for the artist, it's as simple as, you haven't created in 2 years. Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
You're not creating? You think, like, what the hell am I doing?
But I also felt like I had no motivation. I wasn't,
yeah.
for a very long time, I felt like I had no inspiration. I wasn't inspired by anything,
yep.
by color, by people.
That's so relatable.
I wasn't inspired.
Nothing moved you, yeah.
And it was a thing that I acknowledged because I knew it was happening. And I'm just like, yo, how am I gonna get myself out of this? So I started to create. And I started to create like little pieces here and there, nothing that was cohesive.
Yeah.
It was just me creating because I needed to do something. And that helped a little bit, but not really. What really helped me? Therapy.
The big T. The big
Therapy.
T. So I want to piggyback off of that. Once I acknowledged it, same thing.
Therapy, y'all.
I created little bits and pieces here because my depression, or the part of my depression that was like the biggest part of my life, was during my abusive relationship. So during that time, I just remember like doodling. I had like little small journals, and I would just like doodle in them all the time. I just started to create little by little, and I didn't go to therapy, but I got myself out of that relationship. I got rid of that person, just cut all ties with everything and my therapy started from there. So like the people that I had around me, I started doing different things in, my day-to-day life, acknowledging the problem, accepting the problem. I love that more of us are going to therapy.
Yo,
that's like a new trend.
That's a new trend, and I don't care because it needs to be a trend,
and the insurance covers it.
Listen, therapy needs to be a trend because I really underestimated therapy. I did.
Did you?
I really did. It's because I was dealing with another issue that I was trying to overcome. It didn't even have to do with depression.
Yeah.
I was dealing with another issue that I wanted to overcome, and I couldn't talk to anybody about it. So I needed to talk to somebody that felt
you
like
had no emotional connection to.
Exactly, because when you're talking to your friends and whatnot, they love to give you like different. I don't know. It's just different.
You just, fear of judgment.
Yeah, and it's just like, girl, you need to do this.
Yeah.
And girl, it's like I don't
need anything. I just want somebody to listen.
You know what I mean?
Unwarranted
and so when I went to therapy, like the first 4 to 6 weeks, hated it. I hated it. It was the worst. I was like, why am I here? Why is she staring at me? That's my biggest thing. She used to stare at me. Why is she staring at me?
I hate that. I would hate that.
Why is she staring at me? Why am I here? This is dumb. We're not even talking about anything that's helping me. Like, this doesn't make sense.
That weird preliminary stage of.
But as we exactly. Oh, I hate that. It's because I don't want to tell you about myself. Let me tell you what's happening so we can help. She was just like staring at me like. But as we got deeper into it, she really helped me to see things that I wasn't seeing. So she provided a different perspective. And sometimes you just
there goes that word again.
Man,
that word again.
That's gonna be the word for 2020. Perspective. Really think about that.
Yo.
But she really gave me a different perspective, and she helped me to break down all of my thoughts. Helped me to realize why I see things a certain way, why I break things down a certain way. And it's just like every time after therapy, I was just like,
that is so. That's one of my favorite emojis. That's so interesting. Why I see things a certain way, because let's be honest. The scientific definition of anxiety is the fears that you think about that manifest themselves physically. It's like, oh my God, I'm so scared and so nervous to do this that I don't want to do it, and now I'm shitting in my pants, my palms are sweating, I want to throw up, I'm nauseous. Like, it's all of those thoughts that now just manifested physically, and you're like, I can't do something. So where does that actually come from? It comes from childhood traumas, shit that we ain't deal with, that we should have been dealing with, like non-closure, relationships, stuff like that. So it's like, we're at that age now, we're in our 30s. To it. Hello. So now that we're here, we're at that stage where it's like, deal with your shit head on, face it head on, because you have greatness to achieve. Like, you're an artist. Like, deal with your shit, acknowledge it, accept it, and you gotta move on.
You know what, another thing too that'll mess a lot of people up, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate. Social media contributes to a lot of these emotions. Believe it or not.
Or even realize it's happening.
Or even realize
people don't want to acknowledge that shit is even happening.
They don't.
I don't think a lot of people go onto the, top right corner on Instagram and check the activity, like how long they've been on Instagram for the day. Do you even do that?
Oh, sis, you're gonna have to show me how to do that.
Did you see how long you've actually been on the app? How long she been on Instagram today?
1 hour, 33 minutes.
Today.
That's a problem for me. 1 hour, 33 minutes?
Well, it's, being given the time of day.
Ooh, Friday was 2 hours and 20 minutes. That's a problem.
That's a problem.
But this is why it's also a problem, because when I hear
and that's like straight, like it calculates what you're doing, like straight activity.
That's 2 hours and 20 minutes could be time
on one app.
How often do I complain about, like, I don't have enough time, like I'm overwhelmed, I gotta write these lists, I gotta send these emails. 2 hours and 20 minutes on Instagram?
But granted, okay.
And I don't post.
You don't post.
So what you doing on
Which is
Instagram
weird.
for 2 hours and you don't post? What you looking for?
Weird. I'll be on Instagram for 2 hours, but I do manage 4 accounts. So yeah. And I don't really even post on my art page. But I don't, but I put one up today. Did you see it?
I did. But what I was getting to was, I have a lot of conversations with people who say things like, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. How you know that? Because you're comparing
yourself to the accounts that you like on IG.
Exactly. Right. Because how do you know you're not where you're supposed to be? How have you made that assessment? Stop comparing yourself to other people's journey, because that is messing with your mental.
Yes, that is, say that again, please. It was good, say it again.
Stop comparing yourself to other people, especially on social media, because that is messing with your mental. What it does is, after you close the app and you put your phone down, you're just like, damn, it's too late. I don't have enough time.
Instead of it being, that just inspired me to now, do my shit. Like, I have to go harder.
No, but that makes you close your phone, take out a bag of chips, sit on your couch and watch Netflix for 51 hours because you're like, it's too late.
I have totally been there, yo.
It's like, I'm 35. How? And for me to now compete with somebody who's 21 and has 12,000 followers and is working with Wale and X. Stop.
Please stop. Here's the trick, what they don't tell you. There's actually enough room at that table for all of us to eat. Please stop measuring yourself. Please stop. Your greatness is in its own time. All of this is a part of the journey. I have to say that to myself. That was a part of my therapy. Being a part of that journey and accepting the fact that, it didn't happen for me 10 years ago, but it's happening now, so.
And you know what else messes people up? You have these artists, and no shade. I hate to always be the shady one, but you have...
Isn't that what you normally say when you're about to be shady?
You have those artists who have talent, right? And
I know where you're going with this.
They're in the right space at the right time, and then they blow up massively, go crazy, and then they're off the grid after a while.
Right.
You're comparing yourself to that person because you've been working so hard and for so long, and you have not reached that spot yet.
Right.
And that is okay. Because you know who's gonna win this race in the long run? The person who is continuously pushing out work.
Success is not the fame. That's just the acknowledgement. Fame and the lights, camera, action is the acknowledgement. But the success is the body of work.
The body of work.
For the artist. So all of that time where you're not in the lights, camera, and action, you have to work.
You have to work.
There's no give and take. You have to work. As an artist, that is how you beat the anxiety and depression. You have to work, because at the end of that race, like you just said, that body of work
is what's gonna show for it. And also, please focus on your journey and your process. Enjoy what you do.
Be present.
Be present. Enjoy your process. Enjoy what you do. And if you really love creating, just focus on that.
Oh my God, is that the message?
That's the message. Just focus on producing work and your journey. Love creating. Like, I'm a mixed media artist. I'm a collagist. I love piecing things together. If it was up to me, I wouldn't post at all on Instagram.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would.
Taken away from the work.
It's a job.
Yeah. You gotta think of captions.
It's just
hashtags.
It's not a part of my journey. I would prefer to be in my studio space, piecing things together and figuring out puzzles in terms of art.
Yeah.
That is what I love to do.
Yeah.
And even if I'm not gonna get paid for it, if I never become someone in the limelight, I'm still gonna be piecing these collages together wholeheartedly.
And I think where we get confused is that when we are depressed and where your mind is clouded, you don't realize what your passion is. In the 2 years where you didn't do anything, you had no idea that you would have this passion that drives you so much that that's all you want to do for the rest of your life.
And what's crazy is that I went to school for art.
Right. And you're not creating into that's crazy. That's crazy. So you cannot let the anxiety take over. You cannot let the thoughts take over, like to the point where you cannot produce.
I graduated with my BA in studio art. What messed me up is that I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea.
My story as well. Going into freaking fashion with a graphic design degree. Who does that?
It's like, what are you doing? Where are you going?
What is that? It doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense. But it was okay because I was exploring.
Right. You had time. Thank God for youth.
Right?
That's what it's for.
Yes.
That's what it's for. So when the shit carries over into, I mean, listen, people out there are really dealing with stuff. Don't get me wrong. I am not medicated for anxiety. And I do know people that are. It's serious.
And also too, and I'm not a doctor, I don't know any medical anything, but I also struggle with anxiety, probably not as often as you do, but I do sometimes have attacks. And my best friend Jaren would suggest that I do certain things, right? Like, go take a walk, go get fresh air, go get your nails done, because she knows that I love my nails. Go to your favorite coffee shop, go dancing, go
call a friend.
Do something. Don't marinate in your distress. Is that the right word?
That's a good word.
Don't marinate in it. Don't love it. Don't enjoy it.
Yeah, don't be in that.
Don't give it energy. Like,
darkness is not fun.
Fight it. Be like,
darkness is not fun.
It's really not. And oftentimes I do find myself in that rut and I'm like, okay, talk to myself.
Yeah.
What can I do today to get me out of this funk?
Yep.
And I'm finding things to do because, and even if it's not creative, find something to do to get yourself
busy,
out of whatever it is that you're feeling.
Busy. Oh my God, I know it's gonna sound real corny, but sometimes I just like smile and laugh for no freaking reason. Like,
yeah,
it works.
Because you know what? Oh my God. I tell my friends this all the time and they laugh at me because I don't know why, but fake it until you make it.
One of my favorite quotes, because it gets me through work.
Laugh if you need to.
God, it gets me through work.
Even if it's not funny. You saw the fake laugh turned into a real laugh. Fake it until you make it. That motto since college.
That's been my motto since 2013. I was working at a charter school and I hated it. Because I was depressed up in that bitch.
I got through undergrad and grad school. I have a master's degree. Woo. Not because I'm like a genius. Because I faked it until I made it. Okay?
But listen.
Don't do this at home, kids.
The moral of the story, we're talking to the artist. First of all, this is a general message about mental health, but primarily to the artists. We have a special place in our heart for the artists. We are artists. We go through this. What's the first rule? Acknowledge and accept that you have this issue. What's the second rule?
or an issue, period. Even if you don't want to say it's depression or anxiety, acknowledge that there's an
something
issue
is off.
happening. Right, something is off.
Once you acknowledge that something is off, that's when you can switch the energy. Switching the energy.
The second thing is to try to get yourself out of that funk. Actively try to get yourself out of the funk. Try to, like, you know, engage in something, maybe engage with friends or do something that you love. Create, take out some watercolor or a pencil, take out a magazine. Try to get yourself out of that funk.
Go buy a disposable camera and go take nature pictures.
Oh my God.
I love stuff like that.
If that does not work, because sometimes that will not work, then seek therapy. Therapy is amazing. Like, I don't care what nobody said. Who wants to judge you about therapy? I don't care.
A lot more Black people are doing it.
Try therapy. It is an option. It's amazing. If that doesn't work, then see a clinical specialist.
Yeah, because, you know, as much as I like to be spiritual and holistic and all about the universe, I don't even like to take aspirin. I don't even like to take ibuprofen, none of that stuff. So I don't really believe in meds. I don't believe in big pharma. But I do believe in chemical imbalances because I work with the developmentally disabled, and that's real. You know, how the brain is rewired is real. So sometimes, yes, if therapy and all those other things don't work, medication does save lives.
It does, unfortunately.
It does. It does. So, you know, the don'ts. Don't measure your life and your success and your journey with social media. Don't
do that.
I think that might be the only don't.
Seriously.
Like, for this topic, that's the only don't. And just work.
And be vocal about when you're having a bad day.
issues.
When I'm having a bad day, I tell everybody. I really do. And it's not like, oh, I'm having a bad day, come save me. It's just like, yo, I'm having a bad day. Like, just tell somebody that you're not in a great space.
We're in a group chat of like 8 people, right? And one of us will be having a bad day, not expecting anybody else to have a relatable moment. And I promise you, out of 8 of us, it's like 3 people will be like, girl, me too. Oh my God, I'm going through the same thing. This just happened to me. So when you think that you're alone, somebody is experiencing the same thing. This is all relatable. We are inhabitants of this universe. Like, if it's when one thing is off, a lot of things are off. So a lot of people are also off.
And last thing before we go, she just mentioned a group chat. Find yourself a circle of people.
Like-minded people.
Like-minded individuals that align with the
Your
things
philosophy,
you have, your philosophy, the things you have going on in your life, because that's really important.
I can't stress that that part is so integral to growth.
Yes.
Personal growth, professional growth, and emotional and mental health. Because even your family can be toxic, right? And I just want to piggyback off of that. People that are positive, that share the same philosophy, those things are so important, because if y'all are not on the same page, it's just never gonna mesh well, and they're never going to add to your emotional bank. They're just gonna be like, you ever had that friend that was just, you know, after you guys aren't friends anymore, you realize the role that she played in your life. Oh, this was just my 9-to-5 friend. This was just my drinking buddy friend. This was just my industry friend. No, I need you to find those friends that can finish your sentences.
Our next topic.
Oh, the don't.
Switching lanes. How we're gonna switch lanes in 2020 and find people that align with your goals and your philosophies, because that is a hard thing to do.
That really is.
It really is.
Because I suffered from that for years.
It's
because
hard.
you don't even realize how many blessings you block by having the wrong people in your circle.
Yep. And I've had this friend for
I'm so
10
loyal.
years.
They've never done anything
Nah,
to me.
forget that.
Yeah, it's true. That's me. I'm that person too.
Nah.
Like, if you've never done anything bad to me, like, I don't see a reason to cut you out of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not adding to my growth, that's the reason.
Switching lanes. It's gonna be the next. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
That's it.
And we're up.
Thank you for listening, and make sure you check in with Melissa and Kinna. We haven't even thought of a title yet, but we're gonna be on YouTube, we're gonna be on IGTV. sk.Artspace, shout out to us.